What's going on? Twitch chat, YouTube, vintage time. Ported a Strifo Legacy deck into vintage. Just like one of his 5.0 lists. We are playing a kind of an interesting blue take on Reanimator. It is a little less all in than something like Legacy Reanimator. It is going to play Grief with Ephemerate, also some value in Muldrifter. Of course, you can reanimate Grief as well. And then we're playing enough blue cards to somewhat justify Force of Will. We are very low on blue cards. We're like 18, which is pretty low. That's kind of like combo jewel shops level of low, which I don't like. But theoretically, you are playing more interaction, right? Because you're playing 4 griefs with ephemerates. So it's not... so you can maybe like have a random turn 1 Force of Will, but not be so reliant on Force of Will as your only way to interact with the opponent, right? That's the idea anyways. We'll see if it comes to fruition. We are Entomb Reanimate. I put 1 Animate Dead and 1 Exhume because we are playing Vampiric, Demonic, Mystical. So I cut like some of the actual Reanimator cards and have tutors instead. This should be pretty useful. That way, I like obviously the reanimation package cards are usually like the weaker part of the deck. You need it to do the reanimation thing, but you don't want to draw multiples unless you get countered, or it's kind of like it's a place where it can be a weak point, in my opinion. We also have really cool fun sideboard things like Solitude, Muldrifter, Shriekmaw, Cathar Commando, Reanimate Cathar Commando. I don't know if that's going to happen. Put a Hullbreaker Horror, try that one out. I figured we put 1 Show and Tell so that post board we can tutor for the Show and Tell if we need it. But yeah. Well, you need to put in ways to discard your cards. Like there are Reanimator cards here, and you need to put ways to discard them. So Faithful Mending is a blue card that pitches to Force of Will, and also is a Faithless Looting. Nice instant as well. So post board, you can like hold up Flusterstorm, something like that. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can try. Like I said, I ported this list from a list that has already been tested quite a lot in Legacy, at least by one player who is a pretty smart deck builder. So I have some faith in the ideas that are happening here. Don't know if they will line up against Vintage, but Force of Will is pretty strong. I think Sarah's Emissary, which is a card I added, is extremely strong in Vintage right now against a different kind of Hogak decks and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we can do in this Vintage League.
Exciting news, everyone. I have just launched a new Patreon. There, you can show support for my content, grab additional weekly metagame recommendations, and even submit a donation deck list. Donation deck lists are the most frequently asked question on my channel, and I feel I'm now ready to support this new content. Please check out the rules for submissions on the Patreon link in the description, and thank you for your continued support of my channel. Let's battle.
Okay, here we go. Round 1. Vintage League up against Sinister. Playing Sinister a lot these days. Usually on some kind of combo Tinker deck. Let's see what they have for us. Well, we have Entomb Reanimate, or Entomb Exhume. So it's probably worth playing. Doesn't have a Grief or a Force, which is pretty sus against a combo player, but feels like reasonable. We have some amount of follow-up as well. I'm gonna play Swamp so I don't get wastelanded, just in case that's a different deck than normal. We are in beginning of combat. Kind of unfortunate to have the Sarah's Emissary in hand, as there's like a reasonable chance there's that Sarah's Emissary would be the best target. We'll have to see what our opponent's up against. Obviously, we have Grizzlebrand, which is likely to be the best target against Island. But if they were to like play a Hull Breacher, we have Archon. So, yeah. So like it's pretty straightforward when you take a Legacy deck and you port it into Vintage. There are always 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, and those cards get turned into Probe, Misstep, Ancestral, Time Walk, that kind of thing. I ended up not going with any Delve spells just because I didn't want to overload the graveyard. Okay. I mean, we probably can just die, right? Opponent can just tinker us, but what's the guy to do? Saga Gamer, okay. This is just PO for 2. This is Narset. So now Grizzlebrand is obviously not the best choice. I don't really think it makes sense to cast before they activate. So now we can just go and get an Archon of Cruelty. It's going to be our best option here. But, well, they got Force of Will off of their Narset. So, unless we draw Grief, we are in trouble. They probably should just counter this Entomb. Where does that leave us? In not a great spot. Sorry to hear that, Spice Lord. Okay. So they forced pitching Lavinia. They have an active Saga, an active Narset, and a card still left in hand. I guess we are Demonic Tutoring. The question is, what can we even do with this Demonic Tutor? Guess we can just get a Force. That way we are at least protected. We could get an Ancestral, but that's got bad because of Narset. Well, I just think it's unlikely we get to untap again without a Force. My opponent has a Narset. Maybe they go in on their Saga instead. Maybe we could just go for Entomb. It's definitely possible. Surge Emissary is not really the way to go. Like, the Archon is definitely the card I would like to do. I guess I theoretically could Grief, but then I can't exhume my Grief, so it doesn't really do much. Well, I don't know if that's exactly the case. Feels like we have plans. Maybe not. Maybe with just exhume Sarah's Emissary, we technically have no plans. Yeah, I don't disagree. Don't disagree. Yeah, I guess we can just go for another Archon. I don't know. It seems pretty hard to beat. I didn't include a Narset in my deck. Don't really know if it's what you want to be doing. Could be. I don't really like... I guess with Entomb, maybe it's fine. But I didn't really like Narset when I'm like trying to find creatures to get rid of. But it's not exactly. So it is PO again. What is the oh, they have PO. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think we probably were supposed to get Force of Will. I kind of disagree with chat, but like obviously we have to you know, we have to draw action after that. It might be tough against Saga, but like I don't know. I just think it's like extremely unlikely I'm getting another turn, so I might as well try to make myself get another turn. I don't know. I don't really like that play. Could have gotten Force there, giving ourselves a shot. Let's try Hullbreaker Horror and Flusterstorm and Muldrifter, maybe. That's maybe Muldrifter is not really for this kind of matchup. Really don't know how I'm going to fit these cards into my deck. Well, I think like we still have hits. I just think it's almost impossible for us to get another turn if we don't take Force there, which is what happened. Like with a Narset activation, it's just too deep. Like they're going to find a PO and kill us. So I gotta figure out a way to get 2 cards into my deck. Maybe I take out the slower tutors. Not really. I think Cube is fun as a social activity, but I'm not really convinced it's a fun format to play. At least I haven't enjoyed it. But I kind of enjoy, like, tournament structure as well. So, doesn't really, push the right buttons. Does kind of feel like if we just had a grief in our opener, we would be in much better shape in that game, right? I mean, I like, there's a local vintage cube. It's somewhat fun, but wrecked by my scrubland already. All right, well, let's try again. All right, so unfortunately, my grief is it's a super sus. Maybe the grief just goes away and we try to play it slow. Because I don't think I can bottom a land and I need all my blue cards. Man. Yeah, I guess I can just pitch the reanimate because well, I could reanimate the Muldrifter though. I don't know. It's all kind of bad for me. This swamp looks really sus as well. Doesn't cast Faithful Mending. Why? I forget that Legacy you get to play like multiple turns, like 20 turns. I gotta get this swamp out of my deck, man. What's it doing in here? Maybe in the sideboard for a Wasteland matchup. All right. Saga Gaming. They have they have really nice artifact hands for PO. I'm extremely envious of their artifacts. Jesus. I'm just gonna get ranched by a fluster. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Sure. Crazy. It's pretty hard to beat PO when they have draws like this. It's pretty hard to beat PO in general, but this is like top of the line draws, right? Lotus, Sapphire, Narset, Fluster backup. Like not even like Narset's kind of hard to cast when you have a bunch of sagas in your deck. Not if you draw a Lotus. I don't know how much to do here. Just kind of the restricted PO cats. Mana Vault. Well, what can I even draw? I am not even sure if we have draws at all in our entire deck. We can draw exactly Entomb, right? 3 Entombs. And Demonic for Entomb. That's about it. But I mean, they're gonna find Tinker off of this Narset for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine PO loses to very many decks when you draw hands like this. In fact, I know PO doesn't lose to very many decks when you draw hands like that. Yeah, all right. Let's just go next here. This is not worth it. All right, here we go. We're battling What does Matt to the Sea have? All right, here we go. Vintage hands. Don't have a black source for this grief, so we could go double ephemerate or double grief, which is unfortunate. But we do have ancestral. I'll probably just go, oh no, Dredge. Well, we do have a Sarah's Emissary in our deck. However, I now have to ancestral on their turn so that I don't get negated. I guess then I can grief, but yeah, Dredge is theoretically something we could be playing against or play well against. Noxious Survival could be annoying. Okay, so I have a Reanimate. I have a Brainstorm. I have a Grief Ephemerate. I mean, Grief against Dredge is like, it's not that good. But I could protect our spell. Looks like we're a little, how many black sources do we have in our deck? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Man, this deck is really pushing the pitch count here, isn't it? Kind of not great. That's a cool art, though. Yeah. Where'd Matt go? Matt, come back. You can blame it all on... Oh, there's Matt. Wait. Get on my chat, Matt. I don't think you're muted. What's going on? All right, I'm getting griefed. Yeah, if it looks fun, that means it's probably bad. And currently, it's bad. I mean, if I would just take Brainstorm, yeah, about to say. All right. Many hollow ones and 2 dredgers. It's not good for the home team. More grief, huh? All right. Well, the nice part about this Pearl is it casts this Faithful Mending. And we have nothing of value. I don't know. Like, it doesn't really feel very useful for me to use my Reanimate on a grief. It doesn't feel very useful for me to do anything. I kind of just have to hit Entomb and play Sarah's Emissary, right? Feel like that's kind of all we can really do. I'm just going to get rid of Ephemerate and a land, and then I'm going to hold the grief until our turn in case like we can get rid of a force. And then I guess next turn we can cast another Faithful Mending. Theoretically, we could cast Faithful Mending and Entomb and Reanimate. We have like 1 draw step. Maybe less? No, 1 draw step looks right. They don't have... They dredged Golgari Grave Troll, right? Yeah. All right, so they don't have force, so we don't even have to worry about that. All right. I guess we could get Vigor, theoretically. But this is an instant, right? So that's not very good. Okay, so we're looking to either draw our Sarah's Emissary or draw one of our Entombs. We drew an Animate Dead. Why do you like this deck? All right. Faithful Mending. Nope, we missed. Is there any world where we can survive? No. Okay, cool. We are not doing the functioning. Okay, well, I am going to bring in Show and Tell, Sarah's Emissary, Leyline, and Tabernacle. And I'm going to take out... What the heck am I going to take out? Force looks pretty bad. Muldrifter looks pretty bad. I mean, Archon looks pretty bad. But I don't really have a lot of creatures to do this with if I do that. Could we... Doesn't really do anything, huh? Maybe we bring in these to kill ley lines. And hollow ones. Doesn't really feel like an Ephemerate matchup. Like, we don't need to keep a grief in play, and we don't really need to double grief them either. I'll leave one in for tutors, I guess. Could bring in Flusterstorm, theoretically. Don't really know if that's where I want to fight. Doesn't really feel like it. Could technically get rid of our basics. I mean, Teferi theoretically good, but it's kind of has to have Leyline. Or maybe we need Force to protect our Leyline, and we shouldn't even play Grief. Didn't really think about that. Maybe we'll change it up if we get another game. These hands are not remotely functional versus Dredge. We basically need a hand with Leyline, or a Tabernacle, or a Tutor. I have to put 2 cards on the bottom. If I were to put... I mean, we can just go for Sarah's Emissary. Could be good. They have their own Leyline, though. I guess we could theoretically just get rid of both of these, and then... It's not really a plan, though. If we resolve Entomb Reanimate, we do win. For what that's worth. Man. So they mold to 5 and have Bizarre plus Grief. It's kind of brutal. Guess we should just be happy they don't have Leyline, right? I don't think it's worth playing around Wasteland. Though if I entomb a Sarah's Emissary, I have less Sarah's Emissaries to draw. Oh, they have misstep as well? Oh my god. Okay, yeah. London Mulligan. Very nice. We're dead. We're very, very dead. This deck is not functioning, huh? Nice hand. Any dredgers? Yep, dredger as well. Who saw that coming? Theoretically, I could show and tell it into play. Oh, it's too late. They hit a Golgari Grave Troll. Never mind. Never mind. Yep. We done dead. Should we ley line? Yes. No, it's a different deck. If you play rituals, you have to play No Force of Will, and I think No Force of Will is completely unplayable. All right, I just show and tell the ley line of the void, so. Oh no. There Golgari Grave Troll's a 9/9. Unlucky, really. Sheesh. All right, fair enough. All right, it's either PO or show and tell. Maybe this is the time. Okay, I accept. Sure, it's a little bit too many lands, but I can't be picky, right? It's okay. I can faithful mending the lands away when I don't get Force of Will. All right. Let's go get basic island and ancestral on their upkeep. Is that a challenge? Are you challenging me? Yes, I have ancestral. Yes, it's lame and broken. What do you want from me, Juan? All right, resolves. Okay. I mean, I did draw another land. I'm not optimistic of the outcome of this game. Okay, PO. We thankfully have a force, which could technically be good against PO. My PO opponent's hands have, ooh, oh boy, they have been good. Wow. My PO hands are never like this. What's going on? I want a little of this, little of this. Give me a little of this. If I can have a hand like this every round for the PTQ, that would be dope. Oh. Oh. I got turn 1 with Flusterstorm back up. Did I get turn 1 with Force back up? Did I not get turn 1? Possibly. Oh, I didn't get turn 1. That's always nice. They can't untap this Mana Vault and PO for 3 though, which I would deem not nice. I lost my my discard spell. Jesus. Okay. Maybe they'll hit an Urza Saga and they'll brick. How am I supposed to play like a brew against this nonsense? Yes, Mirror Shell Crab got the 5-0 in Legacy. Let's go. At least somebody is doing fun and winning things. I mean, even if they get stuck on a saga, right? What am I doing? My hand is 4 lands, a Black Lotus, and a Grizzlebrand. What am I doing here? Nothing. I'm doing nothing. I'm just in pain. So I'm gonna get a nice quick O10. Oh, they bricked. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Dope. Okay, so we're gonna do the thing where we bring in the what did we do? We brought in these 4 blue cards last time, right? Take out Sarah's Emissary. Take out the slow tutors. And I don't really know if I need a show and tell versus PO. It doesn't really feel like that's necessary. Just bring in some Flusterstorms. Switch out the Dead Emissary for a combo card. I like it. Why don't we have Careful Study? Because Careful Study is not a very strong Magic the Gathering card. Got him. Don't think Careful Study is the problem here. Okay. Is Faithful Bender? Yeah, I think it's much better. Yeah. In the blue-black version, I played Tainted Indulgence. I think Tainted Indulgence is better, but this is blue-white. I think it's better to play this one in this version. If I'm in white already, I might as well. I think Flashback is like really powerful in this card. I think having like an extra 4 copies of your only a way to discard cards is really, really good. It means I don't have to play as many discard, right? Don't have to worry about it as much. I can do more with less. Another Black Lotus, eh? Theoretically, you can also hold up Flusterstorm because this is an instant. Not that Tainted Indulgence is not instant. Yeah, that's why it's better than Careful Study, for sure. Also, Flashback. Also, white card pitches to Solitude. Yeah, I mean, so far, I think this version has looked a lot worse than my blue-black version with Ledger Shredders and Tainted Indulgence, but I also, like, haven't cast a Grief. I haven't, you know, I haven't done any of the things the deck is trying to do. I've kind of just died on turn 2 every game, which is, you know, vintage. Monastery Mentor. Feel like we can... Feel like we can let that one happen. Let's cast Mending in response, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I guess you have Lotus Mentor. I don't know. Just feels like a really bad angle to get flustered over, right? Especially with Teferi coming down. Okay, we could theoretically Entomb, but we don't have a Reanimate. Maybe we Time Walk, Entomb, a Grizzlebrand. Time Walk, Entomb at Archon of Cruelty. Does Archon of Cruelty beat Mentor here? Not sure it does, but you're right. It isn't modern. I have a Force of Will in my deck. Crazy. You're right. How did you figure it out? What a Hullbreaker Horror. Pretty close to going infinite. Technically, one Moxen with our Teferi is infinite, right? Infinite mana, infinite draws. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a good look for our Teferi here, but this Ephemerate, man, I don't know. This whole Grief Ephemerate plan is been completely unplayable. Though I guess we haven't drawn either of them in the same hand together, so that probably doesn't help. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I could be just not mulliganing correctly, but Flusterstorm, huh? They're just gonna recast this mentor and kill me a little bit later. We got good news though. We can faithful mending away this ephemerate. I thought this would go like a little better than it's going. I mean, I didn't just like come out of this out of thin air. This has got there's like 7 posted lists in Legacy with this deck. I didn't just like come up with these numbers, you know? Obviously Strifo is a really powerful wizard, but I was hoping for a little more. Okay. You got it. I'll allow it. Yep. We could have replayed Mentor this turn instead. I don't really know if I care about getting hit by like a really big monk at all. We know one of their cards is Mentor, and they have 3 unknowns. We have Force backup. We have Flusterstorm. Not really in a bad spot. I mean, you kind of have to be loaded with counter magic to play in Vintage, right? All right. So we have Animate Dead with Flusterstorm backup, with Force backup on our Hullbreaker Horror. It's probably better than trying to do Muldrifter Ephemerate things. I mean, this isn't even Flusterstormable. Kind of sick. Oh, and now we go infinite. Though going infinite doesn't do anything for us because we don't have the Teferi anymore, right? So we probably hold the Pearl. I'm going to spin for a Force. Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's a little awkward. We had to use this Teferi to draw through, but if we had the Teferi, so the combo is With a Hullbreaker Horror in play, if you have 2 Moxen, you cast a Moxen, bounce a Moxen, make a mana in response, and then you make infinite blue and white mana, and then you play your Teferi, and you draw infinite cards. So we would win, but we don't have a Teferi anymore. So I don't want to play this Pearl because I want to be able to have infinite mana if I draw something that does something. So I think I just pass. The nice thing is I have double counterspell, double bounce off of horror, spells and non-lands. This is a mentor. I just don't think I care about this in the slightest. So I could fluster this probe and bounce mentor back to their hand. Is that worth doing? It's probably fine. Maybe that's like a little greedy, but they're pretty low on resources. Maybe that's not worth it. All right, so any like a Teferi, an Ephemerate. Does that do anything? Doesn't do anything, right? I can save my Hullbreaker Horror. I can bounce a spell. I mean, it's an instant speed, bounce a planeswalk, bounce something. So it's not bad. Also, we don't have to rely on Animate Dead. So maybe it's fine. Hullbreaker Horror looking a little okay here. Again, I'm going to hold this Pearl in case I need to make infinite mana. The big fish. Yeah, actually, the Ephemerate just as a spell is like pretty nice. I think we just let this resolve, and then when they go to blocks, we Ephemerate our Hullbreaker Horror, bounce their Monastery Mentor, and kill them and eat a Monk token. And then on our next turn, we flicker again, and we bounce the other Monk token. They're not going to do anything. Okay, I think we just hold then. Keep our instant speed counterspell. All right, so this Faithful Mending definitely gives us some looks. I think we start by making infinite mana. Or at least some amount of mana. Can I like put this in a better spot like that maybe? I guess at any point I can flicker this horror and animate the mold. Wait, I should have done that. I had a win. Oh, no, that's not how this works. Never. I can. No, because then the Kraken will die, right? No, I can't do that. I was thinking maybe I could bounce the Animate Dead, and then like Ephemerate and bounce the Animate Dead or something. But there's no way for me to do that. I don't think. Okay, so let's cast Mending, and let's bounce Mentor. Oh, I guess I should have made more mana. All right, so now I have all right. Now I have infinite mana, infinite draws. Oh, it does work because of like animate dead's triggers? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, maybe there was a way. All right. So I've demonstrated the loop. So if let's try to figure it out. If so do I need another spell? So like I go Sapphire, bounce. No, because there's no way for me to get the... I don't think this works. I'm trying to figure it out. No, I cast Ephemerate, targeting Hullbreaker Horror, and I bounce... No. I'm not sure. I don't know how I would do it. Anyways, that worked. We actually won a game. Hullbreaker Horror looked pretty good there. Teferi also looked good there. That was pretty interesting. Hullbreaker Horror was something that I put in the deck. Don't know if it's correct or not. Is there anything else I can take out? No, let's just try again. If someone can figure out a window where I can do the thing that I wanted to do, please let me know. Sapphire, bounce, animate dead. And then, oh, okay. Yeah. Sapphire, bounce, animate dead in response to... So the Hullbreaker should be in play. There should be an animate dead trigger on the stack. And then we can ephemerate the Hullbreaker. Oh, so I could have won the turn before because I had... Oh, yeah, and then the Ephemerate can bounce the Moxen, which will give us infinite mana. And then we can blink the Mole Drifter infinitely. So we actually had a win off the Ephemerate that I just missed, maybe? It's pretty sweet. This hand looks so silly. I think I as much as I want to keep Force of Will against PO, I think I need to have a little bit better than this. I don't have that many lands in my deck. Why is this happening? Okay, sure, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I should just kept my Force of Will 7 card hand. I feel like I'm getting wrecked by my deck. Yeah, I mean we might have had it there. I'm not exactly an anime dead expert, but another Mentor turn 1. Mentor is like not a card that I'm super worried about. It's not really the card that is the huge issue in this matchup. It is kind of annoying that they have a spell follow up that makes a monk token to kill my Teferi though. All right, what else am I doing here besides bouncing my monastery? I mean, this time they can replay it right away. I don't know. What else am I doing? My hands was so bad. I just like a million lands. All right, cantripping. Ooh, should we do it? Oh, that's kind of sick, actually. Nice monastery mentor. Got him. If only they didn't have good Caxium probe. What is happening? Ah, Camball opposition agent. Interesting. Old school PO build here. Probably no sagas. What if they have Cavern on Human? I haven't seen a Camball in so long. I used to play this card in PO so much. Really cool card. Man, I think we're pretty screwed. think I'm just gonna take this opposition agent instead. Probably worse for us than than. I mean, if I draw Ancestral, maybe I win. But feels bad, man. They're gonna go for Camball. I think Hullbreaker Horror may have given our opponent the wrong idea. I'm not sure this card's very good against us. Okay. Except we're gonna have to get the offset the life gain. Got him. All right. Well, at least that card does something. It's really all I can ask for, right? You got it. All right, they're all gone. Drew a top. Wow. That's a good draw. That is bad for home team. Well, can't say we're in a good spot here. Yep. It's a bad. It's a me. Very bad. Maybe I'm supposed to hold that swamp. I don't think so. Kind of wish I had the Sarah's Emissary now. I didn't realize we were playing against aggro PO here. Well, we are almost to the 05. Don't think anything is getting us out of this one. Ephemerate, come back. I wanted to Mole Drift. What is this? Oh, okay, we got PO control across the table. I love it. Yeah. Game 2 went okay. Here we are again. Another shot, another opportunity. Can I maybe grief with Ephemerate? My opponent has a Yorion the Sky Nomad. Yeah, that's what I said, right? Tutorable off of, yeah. Well, I'm gonna give it a shot. Gonna give it a try. I will run this one into negation because overdrawing puts the emissary in my yard. Okay. I have... These ephemerates look so dumb. All right, I've successfully ancestraled and pitched a Sarah's Emissary. Man, but who knows? Like this Urion, it's probably not good. Like if I draw a grief here, right? That would be so good. Grief? No, no grief. A grief here looks really good though, because a grief is just double grief, ephemerate, reanimate. Maybe I should have pitched Mole Drifter. I didn't know I was going to draw Faithful Mending. I think I'm going to just pass and make my choice later. Also, waiting plays around Flusterstorm. I don't exactly know what my opponent's deck is. It could be the Yorion Painter deck. Seeing as we're seeing a Saga. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can also not Entomb and cast Mana. I just think this Emissary doesn't look good here is why. I just don't think I want to use the Reanimate on the Mole Drifter, though. I kind of think I want to entomb. I think I kind of want to entomb an Archon of Cruelty. If they fluster this, I think that's okay. Hmm. Go away, Urion. I'm gonna reanimate an Archon of Cruelty. Does that happen? I mean, it's got to be good if it does happen, right? Can even ephemerate it if I wanted to. If they force our fluster, if they force this, like maybe we mending for a force. This just happens, huh? Interesting. So what does Ephemerate get us? It gets us basically one more trigger, but one less attack. I guess I theoretically could rebound, not target it, and can attack with it. Another Archon of Cruelty. Pyroblast. I don't think we want to cast both Ephemerates. But I do think I want to cast at least one. Like, it's better to actually not cast it on rebound so that I can attack. Is it lethal? Actually, if I cast both Ephemerates, is it lethal? I go down to 3. This goes down to 13. It goes down to 10. It's almost lethal. All right, they're off it. So it does look like they're probably playing my painter list. That was kind of interesting. I don't know if this was better than putting Gristlebrand in the yard, but I think what I'm going to do is bring in like the grindy stuff. And then take out mystical. I might take out force. Maybe that's a little crazy. But I'm going to bring in show and tell. I don't know if I should bring in Leyline for 8 engineer. I don't really want to. I think I'm going to try to get like a little grindy here because they're the Yorion painter deck that I just released a video today. Well, basically I trimmed Entombs and Reanimates for tutors. I do think the answer there was double Ephemerate and then don't cast the ones on the next turn and then attack for 9, puts them to 1. This is a lot of my tutor targets, but like basically Vampiric, Mystical, and Demonic are all Ephemerate. Well, Mystical is not. Wait, why do I have Mystical in the deck? I wanted a blue card, maybe. Maybe I shouldn't have put Mystical in the deck. But Vampiric and Demonic are basically a creature, a reanimate, or an entomb. So, emissary for artifact. Oh, I guess that technically does work, huh? I don't know. I just think hating on like one of the aspects of the Yorion deck that has 20 different combos doesn't really make sense. You know? Like the Yorion deck has got like 7, 8 different combos in it that all come from different angles. I just don't know if it's worth I think maybe we just do our own game plan, right? Maybe Hullbreaker Horror against the Pyroblast deck is a bad idea though. So I can see that being oh, it is definitely not the Painter deck. Okay, I mean if I see a Sylvan library, then my grind plan still looks good though. So I don't hate this. I was a little conceited thinking it was my deck. Man, so this is like another hand where it would be pretty good to have a Grief, right? We just have never drawn Grief. And they got Pyroblast off of Ruby. These Ancestrals that are Faithless Lootings are been pretty sweet. Who cares about overdrawing? Not I. Okay, so my opponent gets to go to 11 and draw 2 here. I don't even know what to call it. These Ancestrals have been working hard. Draw 3, discard 2. Yeah, it's almost Bizarre Baghdad. But it makes blue and black mana the next turn. Pretty broken, right? I boarded Force outright. I don't know what my opponent's playing or how to feel about that. Okay, so like there have been a couple games here now where if we had a Grief in our opening hand, it feels like it would be extremely strong, right? Grief plus Ephemerate. But all right, so they only took 1 card. But maybe that's just like too much to ask to have a Grief and a black card and an Ephemerate, right? Maybe too much to ask. Wonder what my opponent's playing. Maybe it's Yorion Oath. What do we do with our hand here? We just demonic for reanimate. I'm a little worried we brought in a bunch of creature removal and the opponent's deck might not play creatures. Okay, top. 3 cards in hand. We have a powerful 7 cards in hand. I kind of want to cast Faithful Mending and discard some of these lands. I don't really know if that's the best use of my time, though. I can still demonic for reanimate next turn if I want to. I'm doing this now in case I draw Grief. Wait, no, I wouldn't play Grief. Maybe this is bad. And we drew the reanimate. See, why demonic tutor when the job can be done simply with faithless looting. Okay, that's good because it means that we can play around Flusterstorm. So I guess this is a Grizzlebrand angle, seeing as we have no Moxen. I guess it's kind of far-fetched to think we're going to Hullbreaker Horror combo very often with 3 Moxen in our deck, but it's still pretty good as just like cast spells, bounce things. I really did like the fact that we could cast Ephemerate and instant speed as a counter spell. That was pretty cool. For someone who resolved an Ancestral Recall and binned 2 Reanimator targets, I still don't feel very good about this game. I kind of want to draw that Grief, you know? Just hit him with the Grief, double Grief into Reanimate. Feels like it'd be so good right now. Maybe we can do that. I don't know. I probably can't do that if we don't draw Grief because we want to play around Fluster. But theoretically, we could Ponder, right? Besiege you. What am I playing against? Oko. Uh-oh. Maybe we do need Hullbreaker Horror. I sure wish it was going well. I'll do my best just for you. All right. They only have 3 cards left in hand. They are representing Pyro and Fluster. Grief? Faithful Mending. That's true. We can ephemerate the Grizzlebrand after they elk it. Oh my god. That is a true statement if I've ever seen one. We also draw 7, so yeah. All right, I'm just gonna put a Grizzlebrand into play, I think. This does lose me, what, 8 life? And then I draw, so I lose 15 life and go to 6. Maybe that's not actually good. Maybe I'm supposed to just go Hullbreaker Horror, Ponder, bounce Oko, and then Ephemerate, counter Oko or something. I'm debating whether this Grizzlebrand was a good idea. I am not currently convinced it was. So if this gets countered, what do we do? Demonic for something? Dress down. Ooh. Saga deck with dress down in it. Spicy. That doesn't really do much, right? Maybe draw to force. So, oh, they hit force. Wow. Okay. I could faithful mending in response. I don't even have a force in my deck. So, okay. Where do we go from here? Probably just demonic. I think we demonic for Exhume. No, just another reanimate. I'm gonna take 6. Go to. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go for Exhume. And then we'll go for a Hullbreaker Horror next turn with some bounces. Okay. This is a weird game of Magic. This is a very odd game. They went to 5. 1 card. Okay. Cathar Commando. A little late there, friend. All right, let's exhume. Like, do I want Hullbreaker Horror or... Okay, well, we successfully... I think they might have had this. Maybe not. We successfully played around Fluster in this game really well. The bad news is we're going to take another big hit from Oko. Oh, they have double Fluster? Oh. Uh-oh. Oko control. Uh-oh. Now we're in trouble, right? Taking 6, going to 9. They're at 5. We could sneak a win somehow. Like a Solitude. They would draw Solitude, kill their thing, Ephemerate it, maybe. I don't think I'm allowed to go Animate Dead because, oh, fuck. Because of, like, Besages and Vigors and stuff. I think it's more safe to go Exhume. Like, I was playing around Flusterstorm, right, by paying. But I didn't play around double Flusterstorm, to be fair. Don't know if I was supposed to play around double Flusterstorm. So there are Rug, maybe Oath, maybe... No, there's Sagas in the deck, right? So it's a Yorion deck. So we have 2 ways to survive here. Another Ephemerate is not really what the doctor ordered. Time Walk Reanimate. Man, we are so close here. All right, I'm going to try to cast Time Walk and hope it resolves. I am going to pitch an Ephemerate and a Commando. Just going to have to hope they have nothing left. And this way, I reanimate the Hullbreaker Horror. All right, I have... Oh, you have... Okay, that's fine. This is fine. Kind of annoying, but it's fine. All right, so I can't bounce a spell with Ponder, so I'm going to wait and use Faithful Mending and Ephemerate. All right, I think this might stabilize us. This could stabilize us here, yeah. Wow, what a crazy... Hullbreaker Horror looks kind of good. I mean, they have Pyro. That's a problem. But it's definitely stabilizing in a way that Grizzlebrand may not have. Like, we did have Ephemerate, but... I wonder if I was supposed to keep both Ephemerates instead of Ponder. I just figured I would, like, Ponder on my turn to bounce something like Oko, to bounce Oko. Like, I figured I would Ponder to bounce Oko on my turn, so that way they weren't, like, you know, they'd have to invest mana. Obviously, the dress down made that a problem. So... But I still have 2 instants, so it's probably fine. And this one gains 2 life, which is actually pretty relevant here. Not super relevant, because I'm at 4. If I was at 5, it'd be extremely good. This is an interesting game, though. It's been quite a battle. It depends on what they do. I don't think we're locked by any means. But there's a world where they use their Oko and don't... Well, the problem with this is this food token can gain them 3 life. So if we, like, cleared all the blockers, then they could still go to 1. So depends on what they do, really. Deep in the tank. I'm thinking we let them go to attacks before we cast anything. Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe we have to cast Faithful Mending in response to the Oko activation. No. We probably have to cast everything in response to Elking if they Elk, just in case the things don't resolve. Kind of crazy. I do think that this deck has, like, powerful things happening. I don't know if we've drawn, like, super suboptimally, but we have mulliganed a lot. All right, here we go. Top, top, top. And what? And what? Okay, so they're going to Elk the Horror. The best thing... I want to make sure I get my triggers, so I think what we do is Ephemerate in response and bounce a... not the ruby, bounce the pearl. Okay. Yeah. So now they have no attack. We don't really have an attack back, so we're probably gonna do more bouncing. Narset. I don't really want a Narset to happen. I think I'm gonna respond and mending and bounce the Narset on the stack. All right. Ooh, do we keep the pearl? Nah, Ponder's gotta be much better. All right, this does expose my Hullbreaker to land Pyro or land Oko. But I just think the Narset's really bad for us with our Faithful Mendings. Man, if they have a third mock, they had a third Moxen. So they have a Narset in hand, but they don't have another blue. So we know there's a Narset, and that's all we know. So will we... Oh, they are Oath. Wow, okay. They chose to play Oath instead of playing a Narset, though. It's kind of interesting. All right, so I can bounce this Oath if I need to, and I will need to. The question is, do we Ephemerate? Because we lose out on an attack if we Ephemerate. But we can bounce Oath of Druids. We can still do that. I can't win on my attack. So if I don't cast Ephemerate and I cast Ponder, we know it resolves because they have a Narset in hand. We bounce Ruby, attack them. They have to gain life with a food to go to 1. And then we cast whatever spell we find off Ponder or Faithful Mending to bounce Oath of Druids. Okay. Maybe we cast Faithful Mending so we get off a 6 life. All right, so I cast Ponder and I bounce Ruby. Solitude Entomb. True. Well, we can just save our Faithful Mending, right? Oh, wait. No, it's just gonna get Oko'd. I think no matter what, we get Oko'd. Oko's at 9. I don't think any of these cards are any good. I drew the Entomb anyways? Okay. All right, I'm going to attack them and put them to 1. Oh, wait. Putting them to 1 is really good, though, because they're going to give me an Orchard token. Oh, true. We do have Instant Speed, Entomb, and Faithful Mending. I mean, we have to at least cast 1 to bounce Oath of Druids. What an interesting deck. Do I have another black source to fetch? No. That's really unfortunate. I should have used my Tundra. I don't know if that would have mattered. I have to... That's unfortunate. I have to do this pre... Didn't want to do that. I think we want to hold white-black in case we hit Ephemerate. But this spirit token might just be enough. Ooh. Okay, so do I hold Entomb? Well, if they turn off my Hullbreaker hard, don't they just die? There's a Narset coming. Is Probe good here? I don't know. Maybe we do just probe. They have a Narset in their hand, a Ruby in their hand. I don't care about the library. They're at 1 life. I would bounce Oko because it costs them a bunch of mana to use it again. I think I'm going to play Probe. It's the highest upside, right? We have 2 lethal threats in play. Mental Misstep could be good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just... This Mental Misstep draw is really good if in case they draw Pyroblast. Or that. Do I hit this? I don't think so. The fact that Faithful Mending has Flashback has been so good with our Hullbreaker horror. We've gotten a ton of extra triggers. Or at least had the ability to get extra triggers. So the problem for them is Oko doesn't solve their problem because there are 2 lethal attackers, right? And if they don't elk the horror, we get to bounce their blocker. No, because they have a Narset. So what they're trying to do is find Narset Pyroblast to kill the Hullbreaker horror. And then if they go Narset, Pyroblast, and then Oko, stand up, and block. Right? I think that's their only way out of this. So I think it's better to just hold Mental Misstep for the only card I can lose to, which is Pyro. Which they can find off of Narset. I actually think it's probably wrong for them to cast... Well... Maybe not. It's really unfortunate because basically the way we played our last turn was so good because we made them crack their food to save themselves, but they had to use Orchard to do so. Which is just unbelievably good. Hey, we gotta win. Deck's fine, probably. Okay, here we go again. We got RDFI. Maybe Yuri on Oath one more time. Can we successfully secure the 2/3 pity chest? That's all we need here. Is another battle against Oath. So we're gonna not bring in Shriekmaw against Oath of Druids this time. That was a bit of a mistake. We probably are also not gonna board out Force of Will. I had a very mistaken identity of what my opponent was doing. Let's try to have a hand with mana. Okay. I elect to keep this. Probably better to get rid of the Teferi. This at least gives us lots of options. We are up against Yuri on Oath again here. Not as much of a Nambo problem as you might think. The rug controlling Oath decks actually play a really reasonable like Oko control game where they don't even try to do Oath of Druids things. Mystical Tutor. Hope I don't get wastelanded. Probably unlikely, but I don't really think there's a lot of value in griefing here. I got wastelanded. Okay. Am I getting pyroblasted too? Okay. Okay, all right. I didn't think there'd be a wasteland in this list, but I was wrong. No black card to go Grief Reanimate. Could go Mystical Ancestral, but doesn't feel like a strong option. Especially because we won't have any counter backup anyways. Though I guess if the opponent goes Oko here. Tinker! Oh, wow. Okay. That's bad. Are they going to regret pyroblasting? No, of course not. This is bad. This is very bad. My opponent's hand, quite powerful. The classic Wasteland Tinker. All right. Uh-oh. You can fit a lot of things in 80 cards. Time Walk? Well, that's not fun. I'm not conceding this. I want to see more cards from my opponent's deck. I want to see... I don't know. It's possible that we don't lose. Played the Wooded Foothills, eh? Oh. Okay, yeah, you got me. The 6 life Niv Mizzet. Bless. Alright, so we definitely want Cathar Commando. Hullbreaker Horror. Flusterstorm seems reasonable. Show and Tell still maybe a little dicey, actually. Not great. Moldrifter, fine. Emissary out. Mystical out. Vamp out. I don't know what else to do. How am I going to play 3 less cards from here? I want to cut forces. They're so bad against Pyro and... Yeah, whatever. I'm cutting forces. It worked last round, right? Maybe I'll cut 2 forces. Perfect deck building. Don't try this at home. Qualified professionals only. Alright, so I'd like it if my Yorion opponent did not go Lotus Box Tinker with Flusterstorm backup. Shall we cast turn 1 Ancestral again? I actually think this time I'm gonna cast it on their upkeep just to play around negation. Let's get both of my basics here. Okay, well, I guess I would have liked to have not played that on my upkeep here. Or their upkeep, I guess. Alright, what we can do is we can double grief. Okay. Probably better to just jam Teferi. Well, they have Pyroblast off of Ruby. Probably not better to jam Teferi. A problem here will be if they play an Oath of Druids. I guess that would not a huge problem because we have a Teferi. Okay, double red. We're battling. Opponent has complete knowledge of our 8-card hand. It's on them to play around the magic cards. What do we got? Soul Guide Lantern. Aha! I played around it. Well, now I can't actually double grief, which just makes me sad. Theoretically, later in the game, we could, like, Exhume, they activate, and then we play a Faithful Mending after. Should be pretty cool. We could just go for some hard cast griefs eventually here. I think I am going to start by a not hard cast grief, though. Just because I don't want to get my Teferi Pyroblasted. That's something I'm currently worried about. Pyroblast, Surgical Extraction, Flusterstorm. All right. Take the Pyroblast out of your hand. Let's get a Teferi down. I think we'll plus here. We have that capability. We might lose our grief to Surgical Extraction, I guess, but... Alright. Obviously, them drawing another Pyroblast is bad for us, but... Next turn, we can hardcast this grief. Could even like bounce Soul Guide Lantern and Exhume Grief. It's pretty strong as well. Got a lot of cool lines here, which I like. I'd like to hold Teferi activation for an Oath of Druids. We're pretty close to actually just like drawing Lotus, playing Hullbreaker Horror, and winning as well. All right, so they played a land we didn't know about and then put a Yorion in their hand. I drew a Grizzlebrand. Okay. Yeah, so let's just play a Grief. Get their Yorion, I guess. I don't think I care about these other cards with a... I mean, I don't care about Yorion either. I don't really care about any of these. All right, I'm just going to get the Yorion. This Teferi is insane. For whoever was asking if we should have Teferi in our deck, look how good this Teferi is. I guess we had to take the Pyroblast out of their hand, but synergy. Guess we could bounce our Grief and Grief another card out of their hand. Don't know if that's good. Kaya's Blessing. Yeah. Okay. If we draw... Yeah, I mean, if we draw a Faithful Mending, and then we bounce their Soul Guide Lantern, cast Faithful Mending, and then Exhume, it's pretty good here. I did cut a Faithful Mending, right? This is probably greedy, but I'm going to bounce this Grief and replay it. I got the Oath of Druids. Got him. Oh, we could reanimate their Yorion. That's true. Okay. Oh my god, we can flicker our Grief. I'm in. Holy shit. Holy. Oh my god. I didn't even think about this. Chat wins. Is it better to flicker this to Fairy at all? Lets them surgically extract. But I get one more plus, so. Alright, so they can surgically extract in response if they'd like. They didn't like to do that. Okay. Alright, well. I have your Yorion. What now, opponent? What now? Okay, that was worth it. This whole stream was worth it for that. Okay, Grief did a thing. Grief did things. Yeah. Go Grief. I don't know. Just submit again. It's the worst that could happen. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a game of Magic the Gathering. What do I got? Oh, we're going for it. All right, I love it. Tell me I'm not an all-in. If we draw Grief, this hand is so good. All right, do your worst. Well, please don't do your worst. I'd like to put a Grizzlebrand in play or something. Grizzlebrand or Archon. Okay, they're tapped out of Flusterstorm. All right, if I draw a Grief, it's so good for me. Come on, baby. Grief, 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 Grief. I feel like as much as we were shit talking grief in the beginning, ever since we've started, like, I just feel like we've needed grief. All right, what do we got? Grief? Archon of Cruelty. Unlucky. All right, well. We're just going for it. Probably just a Grizzlebrand as well. Oh, they have it. Oh, they don't have it. All right, I'm going to go Grizzlebrand. Gimme, 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 gimme. No! That's okay. That's not the worst that could have happened. We got mental misstep. They probably should have mental misstepped into him. But, you know, hard to ask a vintage player to know that. Are we going to get like besieged now or something? Ooh, Teferi. Okay. I think I want to play around with stuff. The question actually here is interesting. What is this? I got negated. All right. Stuff was played around. All right, they're down to 2 cards. How much more gas can they possibly have in the tank? 3 cards left in opponent's hand. So the problem with Animate Dead is, yeah, it's good against Flusterstorm, but it's bad against Besiege You and Force of Vigor, right? So I just wanted to put a mix of between the two. What is this, Oko? Tinker? Oh no. That's bad. Man. Brutal. Okay, okay, they're out of lands to give. Maybe they bricked. Oh. I am spent. Tinker was not what I wanted to see follow up there. I basically had to draw grief this game. Okay, Sphinx of the Steelwind. Down to 6 life. Unfortunately, I didn't put an Archon of Cruelty in my yard, or I could make him sack this. Oh, wow, we got double reanimate. Okay. All right, so first we'll do Animate Dead. Oh, I guess first we should have done Reanimate in case they had Fluster. Damn it. But I'd like to draw twice if possible, so I don't know. What do they have, a Force on top? They don't know if they want to go to 1. I wish I could Ephemerate their Sphinx. Pyroblast on top, targeting my Animate Dead. Okay. How about now? All right, we're going to get a Grizzlebrand. Let's draw 7 cards. Okay. Should we just... All right, well, first, let's just go Sapphire Ancestral. I'd like to hit a Grief, maybe? Okay. So we can go Entomb second Archon, reanimate it, and win. I'm trying to find a Grief, though. Should we, like... We could Ponder. Just want to find a Grief. Okay, here's a Grief. All right, show me your hand. Yes. Yes, Justin. All right, take that Flusterstorm. Woo! Hello. Goodbye, Sphinx of the Steel Wind. It's a beautiful thing. And then Lethal Spirit token attack. Wow. Cool. That was fun. These games were fun. I had a good time. All right, we got our pity chest. Let's go. 2-3 pity chest, always open. Boom. Wait, how many did I have? I have no idea. Is this still worth money? Basilisk Gate? Maybe. Oh no, they gave it to everybody, right? So it's not good anymore. Some play points. All right, so that was interesting. I think we kind of had some rough starts. Our opponents had some solid hands in the beginning, and we had some maybe not great ones. But once we got the ball rolling, played against a slower blue deck, even though they had Tinker, still a slower blue deck, and we were able to do some cool things. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything. I don't know if there's anything here, honestly. I liked the blue-black Reanimator deck a lot better that I played. It was Ledger Shredder, Tainted Indulgence. Had a much nicer blue count. Got to play Ledger Shredder as a way to play like a more fair game and also like dodge Graveyard Hate. Then had Show and Tells on the board. I think I liked that deck a little bit more. So if you want to see that deck, you can go check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. Should be called you should search Reanimator and it should work. This deck, though, I don't know. Mending was better than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't make it good, though. It definitely wasn't good. But it was really sweet with Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror was actually the card that overperformed the most, I would say. It did some pretty sweet things. Bouncing things, going infinite, drawing my whole deck. Ephemerate also, when it wasn't super awkward and just in my hand doing nothing, did reasonably. We ephemerated 0 griefs in this game, or in this match, or in this set, or in this league, one of those words, which is disappointing for sure, but there were some fun things that happened. If you like this video and want to see more videos like it, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. You can see a new video every one of those days. If you want to see your deck played on my channel, you can check out the Patreon link in the description of the YouTube video, or !Patreon in the Twitch chat, and you can get your deck played on stream and recorded into a video. I will catch you next time.